morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're watching this.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan, Nancy here again. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. What about last time that we met?
It was great. I mean, we had a good time. So hopefully that you guys received something from what you heard, and we communicated across what we wanted to from our hearts.
Yeah, I hope you guys, if you didn't look at that, we started with community.
Right.
And we figured out that community is so important,
Very
right? Community,
vital.
yeah, community is everything, okay? We have another midnight session for you during the day, right? But
a daytime midnight session.
A daytime midnight session. And we're here for you guys, okay? Just want to share some of the stuff that's on our heart that we were able to meet. If you don't know about the midnight session chats, go back to the first community one,
Right.
and you can look a little bit about why it is we're doing what we're doing, where did that start from. Shout out to the midnight crew.
Yes.
Luca, Nancy, Juan, and Celeste, and Oli, and Yvette. Noemi. Yeah, like Maggie and Andrew.
And a few stragglers that come in once
They
in a
come
while.
and go. So,
Yeah.
hey, it's another midnight during the day session, but we're so happy to bring it to you. Today,
Very
what are we talking about?
The heart.
We're talking about the heart,
Yes.
man. So much to talk about the heart. We're going to try to fit it
Definitely.
into just about 20, 30 minutes here. But the heart is so important. How did we get to this heart conversation? Do you remember?
I think we started talking about community, and then within community, we started talking about how it's so important for us to guard our hearts against certain things, and how important the heart is in everything, really. Yeah.
The heart is very important, and we know that the Bible says the heart's deceitful, right? Above all things. And so I think what we got from the essence of this is that there were a lot of young kids in that midnight session.
Right.
And we were talking about dating, right? And finding a partner and then growing old with somebody. And we talked about the heart because the heart reveals the true character of a person.
Right.
And I'm going to start with some Bible like we always do.
Yes.
And this is the verse you all know, Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. What does the Bible say? It says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life.
Yeah.
If we can just stop there and just talk so much about just that, to guard your heart because it determines the course of your life. What do you think about it determines the course of your life?
Because whatever you set your heart to, you're gonna continue to follow that. It's like when we talked about in the beginning about community. Whatever you sow, that's what you're gonna reap. So whatever you're implanting in your heart at this very moment, that's exactly what's gonna come out in the future.
It's amazing that look, when we're young, like nothing stops us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the heart, like all my feelings, all my emotions. But what we did talk about when we had this chat is that the heart is very deceptive, and people fall in love, right? Based on the feelings of their heart.
Right.
And we discussed how some people come in and out of love and how they play this game from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is that a lot of people think that love is an emotion.
Yep.
But the Bible tells us that, love is patient, love is kind. Love, if you look at that verse, love is a choice. Right? People choose to love. It's not just, I can't fall in and out of love because I'm choosing to love, so it's a choice that I make.
Right. And so many times we've seen relationships that fail because of the fact they think that love is an emotion. They think that this feeling of being seduced sort of by their partner.
Swept off your feet.
Swept off your feet, exactly. That feeling of being swept off your feet is going to last throughout your entire relationship, but it's not. It's a constant a constant choice that we have to make in our own head and in our own heart, that this is the person I choose to love from now on. And every morning just waking up and thinking that, what is the reason why I love this person today? Why am I going to choose to love them today?
Yeah, that's so good. You said it like 5 times. Choose. It's something that you keep on choosing.
Exactly.
So that gets us to our very first point that we want to stress here, and that love is a choice and not only an emotion.
Yes.
I think a lot of people get this confused, and they say that love is emotion because it's what we hear everywhere, that love is an emotion, but it's not. Love is something that
Every song tells us that.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Every love song tells us.
Well, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
No more.
So, but love is a choice. We just aged ourselves with that song. Love is a choice. It's something that we choose to do. And some people, sadly, because they associate love as just a strong emotion, that's why they fall in and out of love so frequently.
So easily.
And especially like with young kids, young adults that are looking for love, right? They just think that their heart is leading them towards something, but the Bible tells us the heart is deceptive. So guard your heart.
Yes.
And I think that's something that people don't put a lot of stock into. But can I share more Bible with you? Look at this story here in John chapter 6. Look at verse 45 and what 45 says. It says, a good person produces good things from the treasury of a good heart.
Yeah.
A good person produces good things from their good heart.
And that's one of the things that we talked about in the community. When we talked about seeking out a mentor, is this is the fruit of their heart.
Yep.
That's going to reveal their true character.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful on those people that you choose to select as mentors.
So with what you just said, let me continue. It says, and an evil person produces evil things from the treasury of an evil heart. What you say flows from what is in your heart.
So good.
That's why, like, the heart is so important.
Exactly.
And that's why the Bible warns us time and time again, hey, guard your heart. And at the end of the day, the heart speaks volumes more than anything.
Yeah.
Because how easy is it to deceive people?
Anybody can do it.
Anybody.
How many times have you been deceived by somebody telling you they're someone and they're not?
And I think that's what we discussed on that night.
Right.
Is that a lot of guys and girls, they put up a good front.
Yes.
But if you really examine, if you're observant and you observe the heart will reveal the true character of a person, which is our second point here.
Yes.
The heart reveals true character.
Very true.
Because many times we've been deceived.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because we thought we saw something, because people can present themselves very nicely, very superficially,
very
right?
good at that, yeah. Putting up a front.
I'm not even going to answer that one because people are really good at it.
Yeah.
And then you learn their true character.
Right.
Right? Besides what people act or how people talk or how they carry themselves, I think the Bible is good to remind us here that a good person produces good things from the treasury of a good heart.
And I think an important thing is to watch that person through conflict. And that's how you find out who they really are. Conflict will bring out the best or the worst in people, and that's where you find out what is really in the heart.
Wow. So lock people up, put them, surround them with conflict, and then just watch how they react.
Yeah, you want to see your boyfriend or your girlfriend's true character, lock them up in a room, give them the worst case scenario, and see how they react to that, right?
I'm just going to let Nancy talk because she sounds like she's speaking from a broken heart, so go ahead.
I'm just playing.
No, but
I haven't broken my heart yet.
No, not me. It's all those past 50 boyfriends. But what you're saying is totally true.
Right.
Like, that's why when we talked about dating, right, in our sermon series, dating is important because you get to know someone. And I think that the essence of dating is to get to know the true heart of the person.
Exactly.
Right?
That should be the essence of dating.
To get to know their heart.
Right.
And in anything, like, people slowly begin to reveal their heart to you if you pay attention, but you let your heart deceive you. So because you see beauty, right?
Right.
You see beauty, you see looks, and you see other things, and you fail to see the person's heart.
Right. What really matters.
And then, like you said, when conflict arises and when conflict comes up, well, hey, now I'm getting to see the true colors of this person. So maybe it is good to just duke it out, just so you can see the heart behind somebody.
Right.
Because
how do they handle a stressful situation? How do they handle a loss or anything that presents itself in a negative way? How do they handle themselves? And even positive things. It's like what does a person reveal in their heart when they're winning?
Yeah.
How does that person portraying it? Are they rubbing it in your face? Are they showing it off? Or are they like acting grateful and blessed, which should be a reaction, right?
Are they humble? Are they graceful? You see, and that's what we always mention this, that if we could go back and tell our younger self some advice, this is what we tell them. But you that's listening right now, would you even listen to yourself if you were younger and somebody were to tell you this?
Right.
Probably not, because you're so attached to the way that you're feeling at the moment.
At the moment.
Right?
And of course, when we were younger, we're thinking, I know it all. You know, you don't have to tell me that. I already know it, and I'm going to make better decisions. And we think we are, but we end up making the wrong decisions because of our, once again, what are we putting in our heart, and who are we allowing to guide our hearts?
Yeah, you put all your stock in your heart, and your heart is deceitful, right?
Right.
So it's so important that you're monitoring what you allow to enter your heart, because from the abundance of the heart, that's where your mouth is going to speak.
Exactly.
And so I think that okay, we get it. Good people, good hearts, good treasury. But I think that the second part of this verse is just as important. An evil person produces evil things in their heart, right? And from the treasury, I think that word right there. So I'm reading Luke chapter 6, verse 45. And the word treasury, I think, is so important. The Bible tells us, right, where your heart is,
there your treasure is.
There your treasure is.
Right.
And so now he's tying it again in Luke chapter 6, verse 45, the treasury of your heart. Think about a treasury. Treasuries are guarded, heavily guarded.
Exactly.
But what it's put in a treasury? Valuable things.
Valuable assets. Yes.
So when you look at somebody's character and their true character comes out, you can tell what they valued in their heart, because they stored it there, and now from their heart, their mouth is speaking, and the treasury of their heart, all this stuff is coming out.
And I love that you said that it's telling you it's a treasury, from the treasury. So we need to guard our hearts. Yeah. That's telling us, guard your heart. Just like you would guard the most precious thing you hold, you need to guard your heart.
Exactly. Like, I know that there's no coincidence here, and I think that the wording fits perfectly here, right? The treasury of your heart. Right. Treasuries are guarded.
Such a
treasuries, treasures are valuable, right? And they're locked up because they're so valuable. So think about, as you grow up, the things around. So we can tie this back to that community one, right?
Right.
So the community that you shape yourself around, you allow to you gain knowledge, you gain wisdom, you gain insight, and you treasure this in your heart.
Right.
And then at a time, all this stuff begins to bubble and begins to flow, and that's what we said. It makes you who you are. Yep. Right? Why don't people understand this?
I don't know. They're too busy having fun.
Too busy having fun, but yet you're too busy being deceived. So the first point we shared is that love is a choice and not an emotion, and we talked a little bit about that. The second thing is that the heart reveals the true character. And thirdly, and I think we mentioned this a couple of times, but we need to pound this, right? We need to emphasize this, is that, look, the heart can deceive.
Yes.
How many times have you been deceived? How many times have you been deceived personally in a relationship? Like, how many, let's be honest here about the relationships that we've had.
Right.
How many times have we been deceived?
Yeah.
I think that's why you have failed relationships and failed marriages, is because you deceive people. But if we were really observant, we would notice that the heart of the other person, right, the significant other, was guarding what they really valued most. And at this time now, in the time of conflict or anything, the trueness comes out.
Right. Yeah. So you have to be careful who you allow to give your heart to, right? In relation, and like we were saying earlier, in conflict, these things will come to bear fruit. All of the things that person has stored in their heart will come to bear fruit. And so what type of person is it that you really want at the end of all this, if we're talking about relationships? What type of person, what type of fruits do you want that person to display? And if you're seeing the negative signs, are you a strong enough person to back away?
Are you going to pay attention?
Are you going to pay attention?
Or are you not going to pay attention?
To the signs, yeah.
If you value your heart so much, as we all should, are you going to really be observant and watch the warning signs that are coming out?
And not just be awed by their looks, by their looks or how they treat you, or how they treat you in the moment, right?
Oh, that right there. Say that again.
Yeah.
How they treat you in the moment. Because, like you said, many people can put up a good front.
Yeah.
And it's not until like later that we begin to see the true colors of a person.
Right.
And hopefully it's not too late for you to back out of that relationship, right? Because it can... I know we went into relationships, but it can be even just friendships.
Even friendships, yeah.
Because how many times have you been hurt by a friend who put up a good front at the moment, right? But then they needed something, and like you couldn't reach out halfway, and they were hurt and they left, and it was like a horrible ending of friendship, but because we were deceived.
I think that's one thing that we're so grateful about, is that we have these friendships who really, you can tell when a person is there to take from you and when a person's there to give and to sow into you. And we're so grateful for those friendships that we do have that continually are sowing into us. But even within our conversation with those friends, we've noticed that there are people that have come to us to use us, only to use us, right? And I mean, thankfully we're able to give from our heart, but it also takes from you when somebody's just using you.
And we can speak of this, that how did this come to light? Because their true heart was revealed. It was revealed.
Right.
And I think the more you try to deceive people, the more you try to hide who you really are, eventually it does come out. Right? Like you said, there will be a situation where your true self, your true heart is revealed.
Right.
And let's get a little less serious here, but we were joking around how in churches there are a lot of people that odd couples. Right, where some guys marry up, right, or some ladies marry up, but it's because they had a true heart, they had a good heart,
right?
And we talked about
what is it that they look at, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We said, look, looks aren't everything.
No, they're not.
Looks are everything. You go to any of your Hispanic churches,
so we all have hope.
We guys that are watching this, you have hope. Because it really is the heart that matters.
Yeah.
You see look at this relationship, right? We say, I married up, and I know that I married up, right? I get it. But if she really, I'll let her share in a second, but it was my heart that actually won her over. But you share it, so I don't sound boastful here.
I think we've talked about this so many times, and every time we talk about it, there's a little bit of laughter involved in it. But like the first thing that I noticed, he says that the first time I knew that he was,
besides my good looks,
besides his amazing looks,
and my amazing dress. The way I dress.
The way you dress?
The way I dress.
Besides all that, the thing that really attracted me was the fact that he was a man after God's heart. That's what he wanted. He wanted to please God. And in doing so, he served. So you were trying, the one time that we can actually point out was the little boy that was lost at the park. And he went and the little boy's crying, looking for his parents, and he couldn't find them, so he, out of the overflow of his heart, he goes and he helps his little boy find his parents. So that to me, that made me look at him as like he's going to be a good father, a good caring father, right? Even though
she already had me married up and with kids and the picket fence and everything. Wow.
But yeah, that's out of the overflow of people's heart, you're going to see their actions come into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But with all joking aside, it really is the heart of a person that matters.
Yes.
Like we can't stress that enough. That's why we're talking about the heart, because the heart of a person is what matters. You can go to any Hispanic church and you'll see people that just don't like, how did you get him or how did you get her?
Right.
It's because the heart spoke volumes. The heart of a person.
Exactly.
Right? You like she said, you see servant hearts at church.
Yes.
And you see and women are attracted to hearts. Well, not all.
Not all. No.
But they should be.
Again, it depends on what they're putting into their heart, too.
Because the Bible tells us that looks are defleeting.
Yeah.
Looks are for a moment. Looks are gone tomorrow.
Right.
But the heart remains,
the
right?
Heart remains.
So there's a sidebar here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't look for looks, look for heart.
Yeah.
You were going to say something.
No, I'm just thinking about all of this. Like, how do you guard your heart?
Mm-hmm.
How do you guard your heart? What is it that helps you build up a healthy heart for you to be able to discern between these things? Discern between attitudes and characters and when a person is trying to deceive you or not.
That's good.
So what is it that you're putting into your heart that's helping you guard your heart?
Right. You need like safeguards.
Exactly.
And one of the biggest is the Word of God.
Exactly.
The Word of God is my safeguard, right, to go ahead and guard my heart, because I can know the roots, the truth of people that when they come with me or come alongside me.
Right, exactly. And not just what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to. Like, people want to believe that the music they listen to doesn't have a direct impact on their life, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
If you're constantly listening to, I don't even know what's out there.
Yeah, you do. You love Justin Bieber.
I don't even know what
she loves
song
Justin
he
Bieber,
sings.
One Direction. That's the type of her music.
I don't know. Let's go to like Boys to Men,
Oh, Boys to Men.
But anyway, so if you're whatever it is that you're listening to out there, what is it speaking about women? What is it speaking about yourself? What is it speaking about men? Is it saying that all men are cheaters? Is it saying that all women are after money, or whatever it is? What is it that you're feeding into your heart? And the thing is that at the moment you're listening to, this song has a catchy tune, it's funny or whatever it is, but then later on it starts to subliminally input itself or lay roots into your heart. And when you are in a relationship, you start to think about, well, what if he's cheating on me? What if he is just looking at every other girl that passes by? What if all he wants is a big badonkadonk, whatever it is.
I don't know where she got that from, but okay.
A song that I heard.
Oh, from her worldly music.
From my worldly music that I listen to every day. But anyways, what are you feeding your heart that later will come to bear fruit and will overflow?
So I think she just threw a fourth point at us, is how do you guard your heart?
Exactly.
And I think you just answered it beautifully there with the stuff that you allow to come into yourself. And that's why people need to pay attention. I think that's why the Bible specifically time and time again talks about the heart, because the heart is so important. The verse that we just read, because it's going to make us who we are. Right, the heart, the stuff that we've allowed, stuff that we've allowed to take root, the stuff that we allow to produce from the heart, the stuff that we allow to speak from the heart. Like, this is who we are.
The people that we allow to speak into our heart.
Imagine that. Imagine allowing anybody off the street to speak a word into your heart, to allow it to take hold of your heart, to grow roots in your heart, and then to allow it to produce. That's why it's so important. You don't just put anything in a treasury. No. Yeah. You put valuable things in a treasury. Luke 6:45. It's a treasury, and the good people have good things stored up in their heart. Bad people have bad people stored up in their heart. And it could be these little things like what you watch, what you read, what you hear, all this stuff that we allow to go into their heart, and then we allow our hearts to deceive us because it's filled up with such negativity.
And it's sad that sometimes the people that have a big voice in your life, like your parents or whoever you live with, a loved one, whatever, even your own spouse, if you're married or whoever, sometimes they speak out of hurt too, because they've been hurt. And so, like, again, from the overflow, you're going to speak. It's just going to come out, right? So if that happens, just be careful. Like, if they say something negative towards you, just guard your heart against that. Again, you can't avoid that person because you probably have daily interactions with them, but just be careful that you don't allow it to take root into your heart. Totally. And know that they're only speaking out of hurt. They're only speaking out of the fact that they've also been hurt in that way.
Yeah, totally. And I think people need to wake up and understand how important the heart is. It's not about anything else. This really is a heart issue, especially when you look at relationships, but throw relationships aside and just yourself. Like, it's who you are.
Right.
Your heart is so important.
Very.
Because everything you speak, everything you think, there's something in here that is allowing that to come out of you, and that's why you have to guard your heart.
Yes.
That's why you have to make sure that you're putting in the good stuff, that you're allowing the good stuff only, and removing all the bad stuff. And sometimes, so that's why we followed up with our community talk with this one here on the heart, because it's really important that the people that are speaking into you are speaking life into you, not death. Because we take it for granted, and we just allow anybody to speak anything over us.
Yeah. Yeah, even people that declare themselves to be preachers or teachers of the word, and sometimes really they don't have your best interest in mind.
We'll keep that for a different story. Right?
Yeah. But just on the same topic of just guarding your heart of whatever it is that you're listening to.
You have to be careful. So those are the verses that we had in Proverbs chapter 4, and then again in Luke chapter 6. And I think you could open up your Bible and there's a million other verses about your heart. But I think those are huge ones to guard your heart, and then that good people produce good things in their heart, and bad evil people produce evil things in their heart. So before we sign off here, love is a choice. It's not only an emotion, and we talked on that.
Yes.
The heart reveals the true character of a person. The heart can deceive, and then Nancy threw in a fourth point there, and she said, well, how do you guard your heart? If there's anything that you took out of this, we'd love to hear it, so drop it in the comments there. I think one of the biggest is that no matter who you are, there is a Mr. Right or a Mrs. Right for you.
Yeah, just
if
wait.
you look at their heart.
Look at their heart. Wait and see how they react in conflict.
Look past their height issue, their tanned issue, their little dark, Nancy said their hairline. So I don't know if that was a reference to me or somebody else, but but there is hope for everybody, right?
Yes.
But look at their heart. Even when you're making friends, look at their heart.
Yeah, that's important.
When you go to work and you're surrounded by colleagues, look at their heart, because
Right.
the heart speaks volumes. I would hate for you to
Yes.
continue to be hurt by someone who you thought was something different, but in the middle of a problem or something, their true heart was revealed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need to watch out, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying
But,
don't like say hi to people, but
No, you're always courteous and polite and say hi and bye, but be careful who you allow to really speak into your life.
to speak into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key.
That's the key.
Who do you allow to speak into your life?
speak
So the
into
question
your
to you is, who do you allow to speak into your life? Who do you allow to enter your heart?
Yeah, safeguard it.
Exactly, because too many, and I hate to speak out to the women here, but too many young ladies open up their heart to every single person.
Yeah.
And your heart becomes so hurt, and that's why you struggle in a relationship, because your heart has to heal first. And some of you don't even heal your heart, so you go from brokenness to brokenness to brokenness, and you are a mess.
Yeah.
So let your heart heal if it's been broken like that, right? And then
Yes.
protect it for the next time around, so that you just don't open your heart to anybody, so
Right.
that they can destroy your heart.
Build
And I
up-
think that's so
yeah.
huge.
Build up healthy boundaries and healthy safeguards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't want people. Your heart's valuable.
Yes.
Don't just toss it around and give it to anybody.
No.
And I think that's a mistake that a lot of young ladies do. And I know some young guys
Young
do
men
that.
as well.
Some young men
Right.
too. They're quick to say I love you after the first 2 minutes of dating here. But so be
Speaking
careful.
from experience.
Speaking from experience. Speaking from my heart. Alrighty, guys. Hey, anything else?
No,
I think we're good. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. You want to finish out with anything to tell them?
just be vigilant after your heart. Yeah, it's from it. Remember, from it springs life. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So go ahead and guard your heart.
Yes.
Take a look at your own heart. See what you've allowed into your heart. See what you're guarding right now in your heart. See what have you put in the vault, in the treasury vault of your heart. What have you put in there? What are you guarding? If it's
Remember
hurt, then let's pray for you and get that hurt out. If it's joy, that's good. If it's something else, like let's deal with your heart before we move on, right? So take this time, think about it, drop some comments in there. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share it. And next time we'll be talking about fear.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be a good one too.
Yeah, we've had some people suggest some topics too. So if you want to suggest a topic, please.
DM us on our social media, mine or Nancy's here,
Yeah.
and share with us some topics. So yes, we get your DMs, and we will
Yes.
address those. Let us get through this list of these talks, and then we'll get to the other ones.
We
Okay.
definitely will.
There you go. We love you guys, and I hope
Yes.
that you are blessed. We'll see you in about a week or so.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.